Did you know that simplifying your surroundings can profoundly improve your health and happiness? Imagine living with fewer distractions and feeling lighter and more at ease. What's one thing you've held on to for years that you know you don't really need? In this video, we're diving into the top 24 things seniors should declutter now for a longer, happier life. Stick with us to discover how small changes can lead to big transformations. By the end, you'll understand how a clutter-free home can help you feel more energized and focused every day. Meet Grace, a 73-year-old grandmother who adores baking, hosting family dinners, and tending to her flower garden. Over time, Grace's home became a treasure trove of memories. Photo albums and used kitchen gadgets, old magazines, and sentimental knickknacks filled every corner. However, everything changed after a surprising conversation with her doctor during a routine checkup. Her doctor mentioned how the clutter could negatively affect her mental and physical health. Grace was shocked. Could her beloved mementos and keepsakes be contributing to her fatigue and stress? The thought seemed absurd at first. But after reflecting, she realized that the more crowded her home became, the more overwhelmed she felt. It wasn't just the physical mess, it was the emotional burden. Encouraged by her doctor's advice, Grace began decluttering one drawer, one shelf, and one room at a time. She donated unused items, shared sentimental keepsakes with her grandchildren, and recycled what she no longer needed. It wasn't easy. Every item brought back memories. Yet with each bag she filled, she felt lighter. By the time she was done, Grace wasn't just living in a tidier home. She was rediscovering joy, energy, and peace. She learned that decluttering wasn't about losing things but about making space for what really mattered: her health, her family, and the new memories yet to come. If Grace's story resonates with you, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more life-changing content. Now let's dive into the 24 things you can start decluttering today to boost your happiness and well-being. 1. Outdated medical supplies. Medical supplies and equipment can pile up over time. Prescription bottles, old bandages, expired medications, or broken medical devices. While you might keep them just in case, they can present health risks. Imagine reaching for an old bottle of pills and realizing it expired months ago, or worse, taking something by mistake that could be harmful. Take a moment to assess your medicine cabinet and first aid kits. Dispose of expired items properly. Many pharmacies offer safe disposal options. You'll not only free up space but also improve your safety. Have you checked your medicine cabinet recently? What's the oldest item you found? Let us know in the comments below. 2. Paper clutter. Bills, receipts, old letters, and instruction manuals often create an overwhelming pile. Each sheet of paper can feel like a reminder of unfinished tasks, creating unnecessary mental stress. How many times have you walked past a stack of papers and felt that nagging thought, "I need to sort this"? Start by sorting papers into categories: what to keep, digitize, or discard. Important documents like tax returns or medical records can be scanned and backed up digitally for easy access. Once digitized, shred anything no longer needed. The result? A clear desk and peace of mind. 3. Unworn clothing. Most of us have clothes that sit untouched in the closet for years. Whether it's a jacket from decades ago or a pair of shoes you might need someday, holding on to them takes up valuable space. Grace discovered that half of her closet was filled with items she hadn't worn in years, outdated styles and clothes that no longer fit. She realized that her clothes weren't just fabric, they represented memories. But keeping outdated clothes can keep us tied to the past. Ask yourself, when was the last time I wore this? If it's been over a year or it doesn't make you feel good, it's time to let it go. Donate gently used items to charities, and remember that letting go of old clothes makes space for the present. What's the oldest item in your wardrobe? Let us know in the comments. 4. Kitchen gadgets. Over the years, kitchen gadgets can multiply. Bread makers, juicers, and waffle irons that rarely get used but take up significant space. When was the last time you used that pasta maker or countertop grill? Grace found long-forgotten appliances collecting dust in her cabinets. By donating or recycling unused gadgets, she cleared valuable space, making her kitchen more organized and safer. The next time you cook, imagine how much easier it will be to navigate a clutter-free kitchen. What's one gadget you've held on to but never use? Share your story in the comments. 5. Old electronics. Do you have a drawer filled with outdated phones, chargers, or remote controls. Technology evolves quickly, and it's easy to accumulate old devices that no longer serve a purpose. Grace discovered a collection of outdated electronics she couldn't even identify. Recycle responsibly by bringing old gadgets to e-waste centers or donating functional devices to organizations that can use them. Letting go of these items can help free your space while ensuring responsible disposal. What's the most surprising old electronic you've rediscovered while decluttering? 6. Extra furniture. Too much furniture, especially in smaller spaces, can create safety hazards. Overcrowded rooms with narrow walkways increase the risk of trips and falls, particularly for seniors. Take a look at your living spaces and consider whether every piece is necessary. Removing unused chairs or tables can create more open, accessible pathways, making your home feel safer and more welcoming. Have you ever bumped into an unused piece of furniture? Tell us how you've made your home safer by simplifying your space. 7. Books you'll never read again. Books hold a special place in our hearts. They provide knowledge, comfort, and an escape. But over the years, collections can grow to the point where shelves become overwhelmed. Some books might even be gathering dust simply because you intend to read them someday. For Grace, her bookshelves were filled with novels she loved, self-help books she finished long ago, and manuals that no longer served her. She realized that holding on to books she'd never read again was like holding on to memories of a chapter she'd already lived. To declutter your bookshelf, ask yourself, will I really read this again? If not, consider donating your books to libraries, community centers, or senior homes where they can find new readers who will treasure them. Freeing up space doesn't mean saying goodbye to the joy of reading. It means making room for fresh stories that fit your life now. What's one book you'll never part with? Share your favorite in the comments below. 8. Hobby supplies you no longer use. Many of us pick up hobbies over the years: painting, knitting, gardening, or scrapbooking. But as our interests evolve, some hobbies fall by the wayside, leaving behind unused supplies that clutter closets and storage bins. Grace found an old set of knitting supplies she hadn't touched in years, along with gardening tools she had replaced but never discarded. She realized she was holding on to these items out of nostalgia, not because she still enjoyed the activities. Go through your hobby supplies and ask yourself, does this still spark joy? If the answer is no, consider donating supplies to schools, community centers, or friends who might use them. By letting go of unused items, you're freeing up space for new passions and interests that align with who you are today. Have you discovered any forgotten hobby supplies? What's the one item you've held on to the longest? Let us know in the comments. 9. Sentimental trinkets. We all have sentimental items, gifts, souvenirs, or heirlooms passed down from loved ones. While these things can bring back cherished memories, holding on to too many can turn into clutter that feels suffocating instead of nostalgic. Grace had boxes of keepsakes, ticket stubs, old greeting cards, and small gifts she had received over the years. She realized she didn't need to keep every physical item to remember the meaningful moments in her life. Instead, she selected a few precious pieces that brought her joy and let go of the rest. If you struggle with sentimental clutter, try this. Take a picture of the item before letting it go. This way, you can preserve the memory without keeping the physical object. Remember, it's the memory that matters, not the item itself. What's one sentimental item you'll always keep? Share your story below. We'd love to hear about the special memories it holds. 10. Toxic relationships. Decluttering isn't just about physical belongings. It's also about clearing emotional and mental clutter. Toxic relationships can weigh heavily on your well-being, draining your energy and leaving you feeling stressed or unappreciated. Grace took a hard look at her relationships and realized that some friendships brought more negativity than support. She made the courageous decision to set boundaries and distance herself from people who didn't uplift her. Instead, she focused on spending time with those who brought joy and positivity into her life. Take a moment to reflect. Are there relationships in your life that leave you feeling drained? It's okay to prioritize your mental health by stepping back from toxic connections. Surround yourself with people who inspire and encourage you. You deserve to be surrounded by kindness and support. Have you ever had to step away from a toxic relationship? How did it impact your life? Share your experience in the comments. It could inspire someone else to do the same. 11. Unused decorations. Decorations like vases, picture frames, and seasonal decor can accumulate over time. While some pieces may have sentimental value, others can make your space feel cluttered rather than cozy. Grace realized she had multiple storage boxes of outdated decor, things she thought she might use someday but hadn't touched in years. By keeping only her favorite pieces and donating the rest, she transformed her home into a simpler, more inviting space. Ask yourself, does this decoration still reflect my style and bring me joy? If not, it's time to let it go. Your home should feel like a sanctuary, not a storage unit. What's one decoration you can't live without? Share your favorites in the comments. 12. Old linens and towels. Linen closets tend to overflow with old towels, sheets, and blankets that no longer get used. Often we hold on to them just in case. But how many backup sets do you really need? Grace discovered that many of her old towels were frayed, and some sheets hadn't seen daylight in years. Instead of keeping them, she repurposed some for cleaning rags and donated the rest to a local animal shelter, where old linens are often welcomed. Take inventory of your linen closet. If an item is no longer soft, comfortable, or usable, it's time to let it go. Keep a few essentials and free up space for easier access. Have you ever been surprised by how many old linens you've kept? Let us know what you've found in your closet. 13. Pantry clutter. Pantries often become a collection point for expired spices, forgotten canned goods, and snack items pushed to the back. Over time, this clutter makes it harder to find what you actually need and increases the chances of food waste. Grace's pantry was no different. She found cans of soup that were years past their expiration date and spices she hadn't used in ages. By organizing her pantry, she made mealtime simpler and more enjoyable. Take some time to go through your pantry, discard expired items and donate unopened goods that you know you won't use. Group similar items together for easy access and label any storage containers. What's the oldest item you've found in your pantry? Share your pantry discoveries in the comments. We've all been there. 14. Old makeup and toiletries. Makeup, lotions, and skincare products can accumulate quickly, especially when you try new items but never finish the old ones. However, expired products can lose their effectiveness and even cause skin irritation. Grace found bottles of perfume she hadn't used in years and makeup that had expired long ago. By clearing out her bathroom cabinets and drawers, she created a clean and functional space for her everyday essentials. Check the expiration dates on your beauty products and toiletries. If something has changed in color, texture, or smell, it's time to let it go. Keep only the items that you love and use regularly. Have you ever kept an old bottle of lotion or perfume for sentimental reasons? Tell us about your favorite find, or the oldest item you've uncovered, in the comments. 15. Junk drawers. Almost every home has a junk drawer, a catch-all space filled with random items like spare batteries, rubber bands, old keys, and loose screws. These drawers can quickly become overwhelming, making it hard to find what you actually need. Grace's junk drawer was full of things she'd forgotten about: mismatched charger cables, outdated receipts, and bits and pieces from old projects. She took the time to sort through everything, discarding the useless items and organizing what remained into neat sections. Take a deep breath and tackle your junk drawer one item at a time. Use small containers or dividers to keep things organized. You'll be amazed at how satisfying it feels to open a tidy, functional drawer instead of a chaotic mess. What's the weirdest thing you've found in your junk drawer? Let us know in the comments. 16. Extra mugs and dishes. Mugs, plates, and glassware tend to multiply over time, especially if you've received them as gifts or souvenirs. Before you know it, your cabinets are overflowing with mismatched dishes you rarely use. Grace found that her cabinets were packed with mugs from trips and events, many of which she hadn't used in years. She kept a few sentimental favorites and donated the rest, freeing up valuable cabinet space. Go through your kitchen cabinets and ask yourself, do I really need this many mugs? Keep only the dishes you use regularly and a few for guests. The rest can be donated to someone who will appreciate them. What's your favorite mug? And what makes it special? Share your story in the comments. 17. Unused gifts. We've all received gifts that, while thoughtful, didn't quite fit our style or needs. Instead of using them, we often stash them away out of guilt or obligation. Grace had a collection of unused candles, trinkets, and decorative items that she'd been holding on to for years simply because they were gifts. She finally realized that keeping them out of guilt didn't serve her or honor the gift itself. Remember, a gift's purpose is to bring joy, not obligation. If it's not serving you, it's okay to let it go. Consider regifting it to someone who would love it or donating it to a charity. What's the most unusual gift you've ever received? Let us know how you handled it in the comments. 18. Old shoes and accessories. Closets can easily become packed with old shoes, hats, belts, and bags that we no longer use. Often we hold on to them because they were expensive or tied to a memory. But if they no longer fit or match your current lifestyle, they're just taking up space. Grace realized she had several pairs of shoes that were either uncomfortable or worn out, yet she kept them because she might need them. She also found old handbags that hadn't been used in years. She decided to keep only the accessories that made her feel good and donated the rest. Take a look at your shoes and accessories. If something hasn't been worn in over a year or isn't comfortable, it's time to say goodbye. Someone else could benefit from your donations, and your closet will thank you. What's the oldest pair of shoes you've held onto and why? Let us know in the comments. 19. Exercise equipment you don't use. From resistance bands and weights to yoga mats and stationary bikes, exercise equipment can take up a lot of space, especially if you're not using it. Grace had a treadmill that became a clothes rack and a set of dumbbells gathering dust in the corner. Instead of feeling guilty about not using them, she donated the items she no longer needed and kept only what fit her current fitness routine. Evaluate your exercise equipment. Is it still helping you stay active? Or is it just collecting dust? If it's the latter, consider donating or selling it. Keeping your home clear of unused equipment can make your space feel more open and inviting. 20. Craft and DIY supplies. Craft supplies, DIY tools, and half-finished projects can pile up quickly. While it's wonderful to have creative outlets, cluttered craft spaces can make it hard to stay inspired. Grace discovered an unfinished sewing project from over 5 years ago, and a stash of fabric she hadn't touched in ages. Instead of holding on to supplies just in case, she kept only her favorite materials and donated the rest to local schools and craft groups. Take inventory of your craft supplies and ask yourself, will I realistically use this? If not, pass it on to someone who will. A clean, organized space can reignite your creativity and make your projects more enjoyable. What's the oldest project you've rediscovered? Did you finish it or finally let it go? Tell us in the comments. 21. Extra bedding and pillows. Like linens and towels, extra bedding and pillows can accumulate over time. We often hold on to them as spares, but too many can take up valuable storage space. Grace found that she had multiple old pillows and comforters that hadn't been used in years. Some were no longer comfortable, and others were simply forgotten. She donated the ones in good condition to a local shelter and discarded the worn-out ones. Go through your bedding collection and keep only what's necessary. Consider donating gently used blankets and pillows to organizations in need. They'll be put to good use and free up space in your home. 22. Digital clutter. Decluttering isn't just about physical objects. It's also about clearing your digital space. Over time, our devices fill up with unused apps, old files, and thousands of photos we never look at. Grace's phone was overloaded with pictures, duplicate files, and unused apps that slowed her down. She decided to organize her digital life by deleting unnecessary files, organizing important documents, and backing up photos she wanted to keep. Take time to declutter your phone, computer, and inbox. Delete duplicate photos, unsubscribe from emails you don't read, and organize your files into folders. A clean digital space can make you feel just as refreshed as a tidy home. 23. Garage and storage spaces. Garages, basements, and attics often become dumping grounds for things we don't know where else to put. Holiday decorations, old tools, and random boxes. Over time, these spaces can become overwhelming. Grace's garage was filled with boxes she hadn't opened in years, along with broken tools and forgotten sports equipment. She decided to go through everything and keep only what she truly needed. She also labeled storage bins to make things easier to find. Take an honest look at your storage spaces. Are you holding on to things just in case? Clear out what you don't need and organize what you keep. A clean garage or storage area can make a huge difference in how you feel about your home. 24. Regrets about what you've decluttered. Sometimes after decluttering, you might second-guess yourself and worry about whether you let go of something you shouldn't have. This regret can weigh you down and make you hesitant to continue your decluttering journey. Grace reminded herself that decluttering wasn't about perfection, it was about progress. She learned to trust her instincts and focus on the freedom she gained from letting go. If you ever feel regret about an item you've decluttered, remind yourself of the benefits you've gained. More space, less stress, and more time to focus on what truly matters. Your peace of mind is worth far more than an unused object. By the time Grace finished her decluttering journey, her home felt lighter, her mind was clearer, and her heart was full of joy. She had created a space that supported her well-being and allowed her to focus on what mattered most: her family, her health, and the moments yet to come. Decluttering isn't just about cleaning. It's about creating space for the life you want to live. So what's the next thing you'll let go of to make room for joy? If this series has inspired you, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who could use some encouragement to start their own decluttering journey. Thank you for joining us. Let's continue making space for what matters most.